kbci.blogspot.com, and I'm George Boston Rhymes. For over 3.5 years, Mr. John Robinson and myself, George Boston Rhymes, have addressed Valdosta city government as well as Lowndes County governments concerning the economically oppressed people here in South Georgia. And we have found it very difficult to get inside of the bidding process of contracts. We find it extremely disappointing that we have met with every agency in Valdosta and Lowndes County concerning how to make roads into the federal dollars coming into Valdosta and Lowndes County. This even extends to DOT, Department of Transportation, to deal with putting down and laying of asphalt. It seems as if though there are major problems and impediments here in Valdosta. And it seems as if though just possibly the Valdosta Housing Authority under Mark Stalvey, Mark Barber, and our mayor and elected officials seems to believe that the black African American communities and the poor white contractors are going to sit by and continue to see federally funded programs bypass them along with their children who are in these low to moderate income areas of our beloved community. It seems like some believe that nothing is going to change. I've said 4 years ago that I'm 100% sure that something is going to happen in Valdosta that could cost the taxpayers many, many dollars, all because we do not have a news media outlet to report what's going on here in Valdosta and South Georgia in general. Well, I wrote letters to the editor, but they wasn't published. We don't have a television station, in my most humble opinion, that will call Mobley and Lindsay Mobley, and ask him to get on camera so he can inform the general populace about the email he just sent to me concerning Section 3, concerning how contracts are handled, concerning what he believes is discrimination that goes back to the construction of the Martin Luther King corridor. You're gonna see more about that beneath this video. But we are determined here in Valdosta, Georgia. We are determined to see change. Reams construction companies and other major construction companies, Lindsay Mobley referred to them as the good old boy system. We are 100% sure that if our government means anything, local, state, and federal, that there must be a change. Now we know we can't hardly depend on the Department of Justice, because after all, the Department of Justice are fully aware about the 31 jail deaths in the Valdosta Lowndes County Jail. They know about the death of Willie James Williams. They know that we are leading the state of Georgia in jail deaths. And so there seemed to be a connection, as Lindsay Mobley has said in the email that I just received a few minutes ago, that make me cut this clip. So this is a special appeal on January the 10th, 2013 to Valdosta Daily Times editor Kay Harris, to WCTV, WALB, and all other radio stations and television stations surrounding newspapers to report the cutting-edge issues concerning Section 3, concerning the good old boy system, as Lindsay Mobley have so well stated in his email and sent up to DOT. We have gone to 40 Marietta Street in Atlanta, and We have talked to Miss Priscilla over the housing and urban development for the state of Georgia. We have talked to investigators. We have had G.B.R to spend thousands of dollars to do a study. Councilman Wright, unlike the other councilmen, have made it very clear that there is a problem in Valdosta. But because we don't have a news meeting to even cover the meetings that Councilman Wright called with over 150 people in the audience, the beef of that meeting was ignored, like many meetings here in South Georgia. And so the citizens remain deaf, dumb, and blind to the real issues. And our children, because they can't find gainful employment, because they are not in the clique and among the slicks, they go unemployed. They resort to crime, as Councilman Wright has said. Some of them pawn their car titles to all these pawn shops and all these title pawns that have popped up over recent years. Councilman Wright highlighted all of this, but you don't know nothing about that because here in Valdosta, Metro City, we don't have a news media like America's Georgia. I just went over to America's Georgia a few weeks ago and saw all those newspapers that was very informative, keeping the people abreast to what's going on in their community, unlike Valdosta, Georgia. And we must understand that Valdosta give home to Mobley Air Force Base, Valdosta State University, Kindaloo Golf Course, Francis Lake, Wild Adventures Theme Park, Georgia Military College, and many, many other outstanding places, home of Titletown, USA, the Wildcats and the Vikings and the Blazers at Valdosta State University. But when it comes down to reporting the news that can make a difference for the economic poor and low moderate income people, that it does not get attention. So we have black and white contractors who have fought the city officials, the mayor, county commissioners, for so long. But it is as if, though, like Lindsay Mobley said, it's like we don't have any help. No one will fight for us. And so our children keep going to jails and prisons. Some of them are staying out in the Lowndes County Jail for over a year without even seeing an attorney, without having a bail set for them. The women are in a part of the jail, the old part, that Governor Nathan Deal should come in and take a look at. And this is nothing new. The owner of the Lake Park Post, the late Al Parson, gave his life to bring about change. And because he reported the cutting edge news, he was sued out of existence. But here we go again, with the same fight, with the same struggle. And once again, I am 100% sure that the God of our ancestors will bring about change. The only question will be how costly, listen, how costly it will be for the taxpayers in Valdosta and Lowndes County, because we sat down and didn't say nothing, didn't do nothing, while we duplicate, imitate, and placate the life of Jesus, the life of Muhammad, the life of Buddha, the life of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and others, by claiming to be holy and upright people. Never before in the history of the world have we had so many churches and so many misguided minds. So as I close this out, the purpose of this video is to respond to the email I just received from the Honorable Lindsay Mobley. We know some say that he don't always have subject and verb agreement. Well, there are retired professors from Valdosta State University, Valdosta and Lowndes County school system, that mastered the King's language, but you don't hear nothing from them at all. And so if a person don't have subject and verb agreement, but if they have the mint of our children, and the mint of our fathers and the mint of our sisters and brothers who have been locked out of the system, then we love him and we respect him and we embrace Councilman James Wright for refusing to go to the retreat to draw attention to how the black African American communities and the poor white communities are not benefiting from SPLOST. And this is why I voted against SPLOST. And this is why I will vote again. And I will encourage you not to support SPLOST. I heard at a local meeting at the library wherein the Valdosta Daily Times editor, Kay Harris, made a statement that they were going to work to get it approved. It's not about, in my most humble opinion, I would say, it's not about working to get it approved. It's about working to get it fair, to get it to be more just among the very people that many of these programs were set up to help. And until that happens, we, and when I say we, I'm talking about John Quarterman, I'm talking about Gretchen Quarterman, I'm talking about the 5 other people who picked up their cameras, and pretty soon they've already started on their YouTube. And we intend to be your source of news. We intend to continue. We are now handing out DVDs and tapes with the word on the street to people in our community as they walk their beat, so they don't have to listen to just news that somebody else called to be news, but our news go unreported. But I'm asking each and every one of you who get a copy of this DVD or this CD to pass it on to your mother, your father, your sister, your brother, until we break down this old red China and this Russia communist mentality, suppress and abate, as the old Valdosta City Charter said, that were displayed in City Hall up until 2004, which read as follows. I had it removed. I requested that it would be removed, and eventually it was removed. Let me share with you before I close this out, dedicating this video to Lindsay Mobley for the strong stand with the people of Valdosta, Lowndes County, and South Georgia in general. Here's what that disgraceful charter said. And Mayor John Freddy and other council members, many of them disagreed with removing this disgraceful charter. Here's what that charter said. That the mayor and council shall pass all proper and necessary laws and ordinances for the control of slaves and free persons of color, and to suppress and abate all nuisances arriving from hogs, dogs, horses, and other livestock straying at large in Valdosta. Now that charter was eventually removed because, as a retired military veteran, it was offensive to me, it was offensive to others, but more importantly, it was offensive to all the men and women out stationed just 9 miles away out to Moody Air Force Base, Georgia. But they were so bold and so courageous that they refused to take it down. They had to fight. There was a fight on City Council here at Valdosta just to remove that charter. But in the end, it was removed by a vote down racial lines. And so we want to say to you today, for the 3rd time, we appeal unto the Valdosta Daily Times. We appeal unto the news media outlets, TV and radio, to call Lindsay Mobley. Call Lindsay Mobley. Call John Robinson. Call these black contractors and these small white contractors who are fed up with the system that is unfair. Call on the federal government to look at HUD in Atlanta. Listen, the federal government to come in and look at Atlanta HUD office and see and investigate what is actually going on. We love our children just as much as anybody else during these hard economic times. And did you not know that Georgia is an at-will to work state? That means, my friends, that workers can be fired for good cause, bad cause, or for no cause at all. And their employers don't even have to tell them why. That's what happened to me here at Walmart store 2615. They refused to enter me, a retired military veteran with much management skills and training. Store $8.99, I'm still getting letters. I'm still getting people to come and talk to me about the unfairness of Walmart Stores Incorporated. And it hurts me to have to tell you the truth. But I rejoice in the fact that Jesus said, the God that you talk about, the God that you duplicate, imitate, and placate said these words, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Now he said that to Apostle Paul, but Jesus said, and ye shall know the truth, and that the truth shall set and make you free. Once again, this is George Valdosta Ryan with KBCI, which means keeping Valdosta citizens informed. And now we in turn to keep the world informed, because this is what we must do. If I could put my life on the line for over 20 years, willing to die for foreigners that I never met. Somebody told me to go take that hill, and I had to take the M16, and whatever it took to put my life on the line to fight for the rights and the freedoms and religious purposes of others in foreign nations. So where are the military veterans? Where are the preachers? Where are the imams in Islam? Where are the rabbis and others who profess to love Jesus and placate and duplicate and imitate the life of Martin Luther King in the month of February, but the other 11 months you don't hear nothing from them? It is as if though we have lost our way in God's word. So once again, please visit Boston G.B.R. on YouTube, on blog, go to kbci.blogspot.com. Once again, this is George Valdosta Ryan doing what I do because it must be done. If we're gonna be known around the world as a nation of laws, then we gotta stand up and bring in a new reality, or we are wasting our time talking about democracy here at home and around the world. Bye-bye, we go.